Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the second weekly overlook and the eighth daily forecast for the Project Gladiator YouTube channel. Um, today, first I'll cover the weather for today. Um, there is a marginal threat for parts of New England and eastern Ohio Valley going down to northern South Carolina, and a marginal threat for eastern or southern eastern Florida. Um, this is the marginal threat down here is because of outer bands of the low pressure system coming down and being probably, this is my guess, probably being fueled up by the heat from the ocean and becoming more intense, moving east onto Florida and causing the potential for large hail and isolated damaging winds for this part of Florida. Over here, as the cold front moves east, it's going to bring the possibility for small hail, uh, not really a guarantee for small hail, but there will be the possibility for damaging straight line winds as it moves east. Um, but the tornado threat for this has since decreased. There isn't a tornado threat anymore. Um, but there might be a small tornado threat, a very tiny tornado threat for embedded tornadoes as it moves east. But if we go to the pivotal weather models, you can see that it's continuing to move east and around the Ohio area, Michigan area, and Virginia area in that marginal threat area. It's a lot more intense than areas like Tennessee and northern Georgia, and that will continue to move east into the New England area by Monday and Tuesday. Um, Finally, leaving the United States by Tuesday and Wednesday. But as for the rest of the week, as that passes, there's going to be isolated thunderstorms that may bring the potential for tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds in Kansas, Oklahoma, parts of South Dakota, and Nebraska. But for models for the rest of the week, um, they are subject to change as the week moves forward, so I will continue to cover the weather for the rest of the week as the models change and the probability for different things change across the United States. But the potential for hail, tornadoes, and damaging winds are probably going to be likely with these isolated thunderstorms on Wednesday across Kansas and Oklahoma, and around South Dakota and Nebraska. It's going to be more put together and probably more severe, and that will move into southern Minnesota and Iowa, and then into Illinois and off into Indiana. But then there will be another round of isolated thunderstorms for Kansas and Nebraska, and that will explode into uh, more severe weather for Nebraska, Iowa, and that will bring the possibility for hail, maybe tornadoes, and damaging winds. It will probably bring large hail, and that will continue east. It will develop into a more organized system around on top of Iowa and Wisconsin, and then a squall line of very severe weather down through Illinois, parts of Missouri, and northern Arkansas will develop, and this will bring the potential for large hail, damaging straight line winds, and maybe the possibility for an embedded tornado. Probably not, though. But as that moves east, it's going to bring that large hail and damaging straight line winds to Mississippi, Memphis, Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee, and it will be less severe as it continues into the day, and it will get past Tennessee and Kentucky and Ohio by Friday and into Saturday, it will continue into Virginia, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and the Carolinas. But then it will explode a little bit more and get more intense, but there won't be as much hail. It'll probably just be mostly rain, but there could be the possibility for medium-sized hail in the central parts of the system, and that will continue east and move off by Sunday. But as for temperatures, this cold front, as predicted, is going to cause um, it's going to cause it to get colder in the northern Ohio Valley and New England area, dropping down to possibly below freezing temperatures in Michigan, northern Ohio Valley, and New England area as far south as West Virginia. And it's going to get down to maybe below freezing temperatures at night, and in the day it's going to get to the 40s and 50s, and as that continues it's going to get into the 50s and 40s, and that will continue off to warm up, and that will continue. And then we have the second cold front that happens around this area is it's going to cause it to get more cold than what this cold front is causing. It's going to cause it to get a lot more colder around even far south as Tennessee. It's going to get really cold. Maybe it's going to get down into the low 40s and maybe the high 30s as far south as Tennessee at night. And it's going to get into below freezing temperatures for North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, in the Michigan Peninsula, and maybe northern Iowa, and maybe parts of Nebraska, and that will get only up to like the high 40s, and for Tennessee and West Virginia, but not West Virginia. For Tennessee, yes, but not West Virginia. But again, it is subject to change as the week goes on. But during the day, for the New England area and the area before mentioned, it's going to get up to the 40s, the low 40s, maybe the high 40s, and maybe the 50s for especially in this area during the day. It's not going to get really warm in the day, especially in the New England area, like northern New York. It's gonna stay really cold during the day, into like the 30s and possibly 40s, low 40s, and maybe the high 40s. It's gonna get really cold for the New England area again by next week because of the second cold front that passes through. But as if we look at the instability of the atmosphere, if we look at the instability of the atmosphere here in a second, um, if it will load, it's going to bring it's this cold front as it moves east will allow unstable air from the Gulf of Mexico to rise up north um, into Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas uh, during after the cold front passes through, and this will cause the potential for severe weather and possibly tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds, and just severe weather in general, reaching up to maybe even like the 250s, 2050s. So, and that will continue east with the second cold front. But again, it won't be the unstable air that the cold front carries with it won't be as severe as how it's just standing in the Midwest, and that will continue. Oh, it gets really high in eastern Texas, reaching up to 4,500 in some areas. This will almost definitely bring the potential for severe weather for eastern Texas as it moves east with the cold front. Again, it won't be as severe as like East Texas and Oklahoma. But it will bring severe weather as the cold front moves east. So that's really what you need to know for the week. And please go down to the description and check out the socials, the Project Gladiator, and information on Project Gladiator will be on the website and GoFundMe. And I will see you tomorrow with another forecast, hopefully.